here and I beat my chest and I act like I know the answers to life because I was born uptown and I learned them from the time when I was a baby. That's not the case. I stand here and I act as though I were some important person with pedigree coming to tell you how you ought to live. That's not the case. And the question is, what qualifies me to stand here and bawl at you and holler at you and cajole you and implore you and woo you and even seduce you to step out of normal and average? What qualifies me? The fact that I have been beaten up and stepped on and roughed up by life. That's what qualifies me. Not that I'm an important person. You see, for the first 20 years of my life, I basically was regarded as nobody. I was born to a family that had nothing really to show. Nothing of the physical characteristics to show. Nobody in my family had an automobile that I knew about. I told somebody this and I said, you ought not to say that in public. I used to ride a donkey when I was 17 and 18. Now, I'm speaking with elegant, debonair, uptown folks who go, what? If you're riding a donkey, you'd better not ride the donkey slow because all 4 feet are hitting the ground at a different time and it's very uncomfortable. You want to ride the donkey fast so you can go 2 feet at a time and now it's smooth. I know some things about life on the ground. Wait a minute. And if electricity should go off for 4 days, I know how to keep the meat fresh. And those who were born in refrigerators don't know how because for the first 20 years of my life we didn't have electricity and we ate well and we never had bad meat. But think about this, 20 years. There are some here who are running millions and millions of dollars of budget and they're 23 years old. Imagine for the first 20 years of your life, not having a television, not having anything plugged into the wall, having an iron that would warm up on a stove, studying for your O-levels with lamplight at Edwin Allen, the greatest high school in the world. If you want to fight, let's do it later. Yeah? Imagine being in a little place called Frankfield where when the sun went down it was dark because the lights were not abundant. Frankfield, the center of the universe as we know it. No, but with special effects aside, imagine being a little boy who come from nowhere, a little boy who has to go out in the dark to go to the toilet because there was no inside bathroom. A little boy who was growing so fast that his uniforms were made bigger than he was so that he wouldn't grow them out so fast. Somebody can relate to that. Say aye. And when I was, you see, Edwin Allen is like a city set up on a hill. Well, that's good. But when I was going up that hill and the breeze would take my uniform and flap, the people would call me flower bag. A little boy trying to shape his identity was embarrassed. And I'd go home sometimes and I would be crying and my grandmother would say, boy, don't worry about them picnic. Because all they see is the outside. One day, if you do what I tell you, you will become somebody. You are somebody. The wings are inside you. They said they see a little worm right now. But if you just do what I say, study hard. Don't stay with the wrong children. Hang out with the bad children. Trust in God. Learn the words of the Bible. Be obedient to me. They see caterpillar on the outside, but the wings are inside you, and one day you're going to fly. And I believed her. When I was born, my mother had to run away from home. Why? Because she was regarded as a shame in the family. She was 16 years old and pregnant. Didn't work back then. Today, you just have baby go back to school. And somebody said to my mother, you should be ashamed of yourself. Why don't you have an abortion and save us all? Can you imagine me coming into the world with the world not wanting me? This is the little boy that stands before you, whose uncle beat him into a pulp and kicked him and knocked him with a stick and punched him into the ground. My only recollection of sitting in St. Mary one day was to see my blood drying up on the ground after 4 hours. Then my aunt came and took me to the emergency room to save my little life. This is the boy that stands before you, pounding his chest and saying to you, the reason I tell you about my upbringing is not to depress you. The reason I tell you about my upbringing is to suggest strongly to you that irrespective of the thing you call your present, irrespective of your past, you and I have no excuse at all for anything that is normal or ordinary or regular or average or mediocre. The mere fact that we are alive says we have to strive for excellence every day. That alone is enough for somebody who is a human being. That's why I share my story with you. And I share this story with you because when I didn't have the physical attributes to show, The only thing that I had was a series of internal things, like the hope that I'm going to grow up one day and make a difference. The hope that I'm going to grow up one day and have something that's called a car that has wheels and steering on it. The vision. Man, don't let them look at you and put you in a box and tell you that you're just a woman in a man's world. Don't accept that prediction of doom upon your life. Don't let them tell you only that you're a black person in a light-skinned world. Don't let them tell you that you're a short person in a tall person's world. Don't let them tell you that you're a big round person in a skinny person's world. They're excuses. They're observable. They're tangible. They're physical. You know that the edge comes from having something on the inside of you. Am I telling the truth? The objective is fine. It's a price of entry. It is the subjective. Yeah. The practical and the logical and the analytical are fine. They're observable. It is the emotional and it is the mental and it is the spiritual and the insight that gives you the edge. The edge.